Our purpose is to build a holistic voice that creates a community of like-minded, healthy people for a healthier planet. Our goal is to unify the community, nourishing the growth in mind, body, spirit, awareness, and wellness. We want to engage our community and visitors so they have access to powerful momentum of the holistic presence in our community. We do this by creating awareness through interviews, providing education and awareness of cutting-edge modalities. We also provide access for consumers to quality natural health and wellness professional and practitioners and like-minded business that support this community. Thank you for listening with us on Healthy Planet One. Stay with us for the next interview with our next holistic guest.
Welcome, everyone. This month's focus is on Let the Light In. This topic is very diverse, and we have invited 4 guests to share their insights and contributions from their fields. We invite you to listen each week to these in-depth conversations that will make a big difference in your life. And today, our guest this week is Nan Summers. Welcome, Nan. Nice to have you.
Great to be with you.
And Nan comes with a plethora of experience. So I'm going to try to just highlight some of it because she's an amazing woman. I've gone through a lot of her information and what she's done, and we can't get it all in one sitting. So we'll just highlight some of it. So you pursued artistic and athletic dance activities and grew up in a family that was founded on it's all things music, right? And then you went on to complete your MBA in integrated leadership and with systems design. So you spent 23 years with Walt Disney's Company in leadership roles, including professional development for Walt Disney World's Imagineering design team, Arvida, Disney's 55 master plan communities, co-founding Disney's seminar business, and Magic Kingdom Theme Parks executive operating team. But it doesn't stop there, does it? Oh my goodness. So you left them after all that time and joined the Rippy Lifestyle Institute, which is, you were the director of performance and vitality to coach executives on achieving their highest levels of personal health and positive influence, leading cultures within their organization. And I love that because you've also become a member of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and you see there's so many similarities to what you were doing with Rippy that we could actually incorporate it with what we're doing with the Holistic Chamber, but we'll get there. The thing that I love about you is you're inspired by nature's exquisite interconnections to life and to thrive. So I understand your mission is to help people, and you're here to share yourself. So thank you so much for joining us today. Kimberly, do you have a quick one for Nan?
So we love nature. All 3 of us do. Nature, definitely because of the aromatherapy and me with food and everything. This is the ultimate designer of life. So how can you expand on this, Nan, and your connection with nature?
What is the nature's ultimate designer for you?
Yeah, that's what it is the ultimate designer of life, as you're right.
Yeah.
And the more we turn to understanding how it has evolved and what works, because nature works. If it doesn't, it's not here anymore. So creating an environment where we can take the best of and also realize we are part of nature. We're interconnected with it. We can't be separate from it. Everything that we consume, whether it's from food or products that are made from things that are grown or produced through the nature's systems of water and sunlight and the earth, they are become literally part of us inside. So the field of biomimicry is the study of the application of nature's proven work into whatever products or personal things that we might want to make with it. So it's looking at nature as the resources, the building blocks of the things that we do. Like Velcro, for instance. Velcro came from understanding birds that got on someone's pant leg.
Those birds that stick to our legs? Oh, I hate those things.
The ones at the beach are murderous. The ones that get under your feet.
They work. So
they do.
The fundamental principle of design is it's a convergence of what works with what matters. So for everything, even poisons and plants and all, they're they have a function which is protection of something. And that's why it's interesting to learn how we can work with our own natures. And sometimes we aren't always the most positive and create problems or have to respond to problems that happen around us with people. So learning how our systems process good things and deal with the resilience is another facet.
Well, let me back up just a little bit, if I may, Nan. I'm enthralled that you were with Walt Disney for 23 years.
Yeah.
So, and you knew Walt.
Well, no, I didn't know Walt, but I flew on his plane with many of the designers
That he worked with.
that were his core teams.
Oh,
he passed away in 1966.
Okay. So, and Walt Disney is all about creation and imagination, but he also incorporates nature. So is that what spoke to you? And how do you see that how that you implemented and being part of that, and then carrying that forward into the lifestyle work that you did with Rippy? How did that occur for you?
That's a great question. He was one of the first people to do true life nature films. So
Walt Disney was.
Yes, he was. In addition to all of his other things, and he also imbued in his animated features qualities of nature in beings, the fairies,
like they could talk and stuff like that,
and the animals and all of that. So he had that plugged in. And what I was able to see, I used to do a lot of volunteer work with Give Kids the World Village, which is the Make-A-Wish Foundation village that they put in Central Florida for children with life-threatening illnesses whose wish is to go to the theme parks, not just Disney, but there. And one of the things is one of the people that was Walt's right-hand people, he had a core feeling that being in an environment where everyone belongs, where everything is clean, where everyone tries to
do their best
and to be positive, has an both to work there and to go there, has an actual health benefit. And I was able to tell him, he was about 87 when we sat down and had this conversation, that some of the people that they're tracking from the Give Kids the World Village lived up to 6 months longer than their peers with the similar conditions. And even those who didn't, and this almost gives me chills to remember this, but the family member, there was like a boost in the immune system, and it was the whole family, not just the particular child that had the illness. And the sharing that they all had that together, those wonderful memories, that transcended all of the pain and the suffering that they were going through. And it's been measurable. Even when they would walk in, when they just arrived there, and I would serve food on the buffet line, you could just physically see their physiology change. They're just
so inspiring when you get to experience that, right?
And so we talked a lot about what is the benefit. They called it, too, the architecture of reassurance, because one of the fundamental design principles is that the world can be safe. It doesn't always feel safe, but the environment that the parks placed you in gave you a sense of safety. And even if you couldn't find your car, the parking lot, you knew somebody was going to come and help you. So just we worked a lot with how do you create an environment where people can be calm, where people can focus on being with the people that they love and enjoying beauty and the fireworks and be laughing, that each one of those elements, and being treated well.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. You're special. So that kind of had a ripple effect, and that's the way we treated each other as well. I mean, if you swore, you were gone, done.
From the Disney group? Oh, really?
Yeah.
No swearing.
No swearing. We even eliminated.
Because it's all about creating a positive environment. Is that it?
And you get disciplined in how to do that. Oh. We even eliminated the word but.
Really? I love that.
Because, especially when we're building Epcot, and in every trailer on the entire site, or 10,000 people work in it, there was a little jar. And if you said, no, we can't do that, or it's not going to work, or whatever, you had to put money in that jar.
Now, we used to do that with my children when they were little. If they swore, they put money in there and we'd go to a dinner. But you did it with the but and can't do that. I love that.
The proper response would be, well, let's find a different way than the original thing that we were going to do. And so and I almost said but I didn't get quite. One slips back after time. When you do use the word but, it negates whatever the person said in front of it. So then it's a very simple thing is to say, yes, Patricia, that's a great point. And having thought about this. So it's these little things. And getting back to your direct question of how that relates to the Rippy Lifestyle Institute, because one of their clients, they had the Disney Executive Health Assessment Program. So it was very easy to continue that philosophy when I was sitting with each individual. And performance and vitality was the more open-ended one. They met with nutritionists, exercise physiologists, the medical doctor. We had a pharmaceutical person for their supplements and all of that. And the whole idea was integrating that so that you would get the picture of your own theme park within yourself and how to keep that at its optimal functioning.
Oh my God, I love your own theme park in yourself. Woo! What a concept, right? That's great.
Sometimes we have roller coaster rides.
We're pretty funny sometimes, right? Well, wow, that's really interesting. So humans are a part of and not separated from this web, and that's how we. It's interesting when I hear you say about Disney and the discipline that you learned from that. And so just by not saying but or no, can't do that, which stops that web, you were trained in creating that web, in aggregating pieces. So let's talk a little bit about that.
I love that. It's one of my favorite things. And we thank the bees, too, for that, because bees have a matrix that they create a highly structured thing when they do their honeycomb.
The beeswax in the way that they're the comb, right?
Yeah, so they only put the beeswax is very high energy for them to produce when they have the nectar. So they only have to put down one line necessarily, and then it attaches in a hexagon. And that's one of the strongest structures that there is when you get it.
And they do that automatically.
They do it. They don't even have to be trained in discipline.
Doesn't matter if there's an earthquake; they'll still stand, right?
And so there's an actual term called radical resource productivity, which comes from understanding how nature has no waste, how nature does efficiency because it figures out how to do it. So what we've done, I can kind of fast forward a little bit to something here in this area recently. So we applied that with the idea of wanting to help clean water, wanting to help reduce waste in the landfills, wanting to involve people directly in a wonderful activity and being outside and being able to contribute. So we did our own little radical resource productivity. We partnered with restaurants that after people consumed the oysters, we kept the oysters, we got a grant, and we took the consumed oysters and let them cure outside in the sun for a while at one of the preserves in Manatee County. And then we took the oysters and we packaged them in 20-pound bags or mats, and we had children helping with that, and we had all kinds of volunteers. So it was a multi-generational thing. Then we had an eco-fitness program where they could go out to Robinson Preserve, and if they wanted to do the workout, and we had all ages that were participating. Like 20-pound bags is not for a little kid, but we had mats that other people could do. Then they put them into the water. So every single oyster filters 10 or more to 50.
I think it's 50 gallons a day or something. It
depends on the size of the oyster. Yeah, between 10 or 20 or 50. Yeah. And then they also become like the nursery, the substrate for the next generation of oysters to attach. So we called it muscles for muscles, but it really was more accurate to say biceps for bivalves. But so people got to be outside. They got to participate in a fitness activity with all those benefits. We removed all of the oysters from the landfill, tons of them. And we also created new oysters, and we cleared the water. So all of those things together, then we said, we like that. And that's what nature does too. It repeats something, then that worked really well. So next time we worked with clams, we couldn't sell the clams. The clam farmer couldn't because of the quarantine due to red tide. But And
the clams clean the red tide. It's
clams
amazing.
eat the red tide. So they were able to get some funding to keep the clams